Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Join News Today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlene. Coming up this afternoon, Information Minister Designate Fatima Abubakar pledges commitment to ensure timely release of information to the public to prevent speculations.
On our part as a ministry, it is important that we don't leave a vacuum or we don't waste time when it comes to responding should any matter become of public interest.
We have more from the vetting in Parliament today. Also, as we celebrate Women today on International Women's Day, one of Africa's leading experts in quality management and leadership is charging women to support their fellow women to push more women into leadership positions.
And while they engage, I want to use this platform to call on women to support women. To be honest with you, it is only lip service a lot of the time.
Plus, members of Parliament continue to mourn the sudden death of Ejiso MP John Kuma. We are live in Parliament and also in the Ejiso constituency in the Ashanti region for more. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X Spaces via Joy News on TV. My personal handle is @Nana Aisha. Please do stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. Joy News is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Let's start with celebrating International Women's Day today. There is a reminder of the urgent need to invest in women to help accelerate progress. The day is observed annually to give focus to issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, and violence and abuse against women. The theme for this year's celebration is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. One of Africa's leading experts in quality management and leadership and founding dean of the School of Graduate Studies at the University of Professional Studies, Professor Goske Alabi, says for us to succeed in achieving this goal, women must make it a point to support other women. She spoke with me earlier on Joy News Desk.
We also need to ensure that a lot of the barriers are broken, particularly when it comes to women's participation in politics, our representation in Parliament, and also our representation at the local government level. But one of the critical things is our perspective of women who venture into politics, the kind of name calling, the kind of insults, the kind of shaming, the way we portray women who go into politics ought to change. It has to be more supportive than the kind of attacks we rain on our sisters and mothers who try to venture into politics in Ghana. We need to create the environment where women are truly free to enter into politics. And while they engage, I want to use this platform to call on women to support women. To be honest with you, it is only lip service a lot of the time. Women would say, we want women. But when women are put forward, oftentimes we don't find women supporting them genuinely. We need to ensure that we encourage women to support women genuinely.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Development Programme in Ghana says women are underrepresented in Ghana. Women account for less than 15% of members of parliament, prompting concerns that the needs and priorities of women are being relegated. However, as the world marks International Women's Day today, a push is being made for more representation of women across the world.
The United Nations estimates that more than 300 million women and girls could be living in extreme poverty by 2030 if steps are not taken to close the gender gap. In view of this, the United Nations is marking the International Women's Day with a message to the world to prioritize gender-responsive financing and increase public spending on essential services and social protection. As the United Nations Lead Development Agency, the UNDP says Ghana should not be left out, as the agency says women are underrepresented across the country.
Ghana is punching below its weight. At 14.5% representation in parliament, with less than 28% of the MPs under 45, we really are at a critical stage where something has to give. So affirmative action has worked elsewhere. We've seen it work in countries such as Rwanda, and it is one of the tools that will push us towards a path. Because we have to look at what's happening with political parties. We also have to look at how do we engage with aspiring young women leaders? How do we create a supportive ecosystem where we address some of the barriers to their engagement?
Experts say closing gender gaps in employment alone could boost GDP per capita by 20%. MP for Clotte Colley, Dr. Zaneto Ajaman Rawlings, there's a lot more ought to be done to address the concerns of women, including the need for Parliament to pass the affirmative action bill that could shore up representation of women.
The affirmative action bill has to be implementable, which means that we have to ensure that it is able to do what it needs to do across sectors and across socioeconomic levels and across different scopes of life. Otherwise, we will law that looks nice on paper but will not achieve the desired objective. And so it's not a bill that can be taken lightly. It will require a lot of broad stakeholder engagement. We're going to have to really look at it very critically, because what you also don't want to do is tie yourself up into some kind of a legal knot that makes it impossible to be flexible enough to allow yourself to adapt as circumstances change.
Even before authorities get to work, the UNDP says it is rolling out a number of initiatives that would promote inclusion and empower women in Ghana.
And we're not the only ones doing that. And so we believe strongly that there should be better coordination amongst all the different players, and working with the enterprise agency, working with the export agency, work with the National Coordination Office for AFTA, just to make sure that we have more young people accessing these opportunities from across the country. But for women in leadership, we're very much looking at the local governance level.
The Minority Women Caucus in Parliament have lauded the appointment of Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman as running mate to John Dramani Mahama for the 2024 elections. The female MPs believe Nana Jane will partner John Mahama to victory. Comfort Doyo Kujo is Deputy Minority Whip.
Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman's reappointment as the vice presidential candidate reflects the confidence that the NDC leadership and the party have reposed in her. Her ability to effectively steer the nation towards progress and prosperity is not in doubt. Her vast experience in academia, coupled with her tenure as Minister of Education, speak volumes about her capacity to address pressing challenges facing our education system and to drive sustainable development across all sectors of our economy. Ladies and gentlemen, as female legislators, we recognize the historic significance of having a woman at the forefront of Ghana's political landscape. Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman's nomination not only paved the way for the greater gender inclusivity in governance, but also serves as an inspiration for all young girls across the country to aspire to leadership role and pursue their dreams without limitation. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we want to thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for giving the female MPs and the women in Ghana the best gift ahead of tomorrow's International Women's Day. Yeah. By nominating Professor Nana Opoku Agyeman as the running mate for the great NDC. Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we say thank you for inspiring inclusion and walking the talk by investing in women to accelerate progress. Yeah. We urge all NDC members, supporters, and the Ghanaian electorate at large to rally behind His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Professor Nana Opoku Agyeman, as the party embark on this important journey to secure victory for Ghana in 2024 election.
Information Minister Designate Fatima Abubakar has pledged her commitment to ensuring timely release of information to the public to prevent speculations if she is endorsed by Parliament to become the minister. She took her turn today to be vetted by Parliament, where she has also been speaking about the Ghana Today platform, which she says will aid fact-checking.
On our part as a ministry, it is important that we don't leave a vacuum or we don't waste time when it comes to responding should any matter become of public interest, because people are in haste to know what is going on, and where we fail to respond, it will create a vacuum, leaving a lot of space for people who do not have the best intentions to cook up some stories and put there. So, Honorable Chair, I am minded that should any matter become of public interest and it is required that the government should respond, I am minded to make sure that the response comes in good time. Thank you.
Chairman, do I have the permission to ask a follow-up on this? Okay. Honorable Minister Designate, I want a clear-cut plan from you as Minister Designate, because you made reference to Dubawa. Those are private sector players. As the Ministry of Information, and like I said, you have active government and party operatives on both sides of the divide pushing this agenda. Specific intervention from your ministry, not relying on private sector fact checkers. You as government, what steps are you going to take as the lead information agency to deal with this menace?
Honorable Chair, please, already the Ministry of Information under the Information Services Department has set up a platform called Ghana Today. The intention is for it to be the original source of government verified information, such that if there is any information out there, because anyone can pick a letterhead and then change the writings on it and put some material on it and it will mimic the reality. But if you go on the Ghana Today platform, which to some extent is also acting like a fact-checking platform, you are able to access the most verified information coming from our ministry and government agencies which have been made available to us.
There will be no introduction of a new CI to guide the upcoming general election. This was the consensus reached by the Electoral Commission and political parties earlier today at the Inter-Party Advisory Committee meeting, actually yesterday. The retention of the existing CI 127 for the conduct of this year's election will mean that earlier proposals for the use of Ghana card, guarantor system, and no indelible ink have been suspended. The NDC, which has returned after several negotiations with IPAC, said their demands for changes in the electoral process through their boycotts have yielded results.
Declarative statements about issues that we've been haggling over for some time. Some of them had been heard, but officially she placed before all the political parties present that in 2024 elections, indelible ink will be used. One. She further stated that ahead of the election, the registration that we are going to have, the guarantor system will stay, because that has been a concern that we had been raising. We had always used evidence, their own evidence, that the 2023 limited registration, over 60% of the registrants registered through the guarantor system and not by using either a passport or the Ghana card. Therefore, if within a short period of less than 1 year, the EC was going to jettison the guarantor system through a new CI, it would have meant that the EC was going to disenfranchise a lot of Ghanaians. The EC chair was very clear, without ambiguity, that the guarantor system will remain in the limited registration that we are going to have. You also recall that during the 2023 limited registration, we had a situation where the registration took place only in district offices. If you came to this place where we are, the very grounds that we are, the place was congested, extremely congested. They have agreed that they will expand the registration beyond the district offices, but they will do that in electoral areas that have difficult to reach zones. And so we said there is ambiguity in difficult to reach. So we want to see what they are accepting to be difficult to reach, so that if we have to make inputs, and we believe we would have to make inputs into them, places like Afram Plains and North Tongue and the rest, there are hard to reach areas there. We will help them so that we all co-create those hard to reach areas in the electoral areas. So there again, we complain about the district office registrations, and initially we were pushing for, not in this meeting, but initially we were pushing for the entire polling stations, but it's obvious that their budgetary constraints and everything cannot allow. But at least they've met us halfway by extending to the electoral areas with hard to reach areas, and this is something that we will try to address the ambiguity. Beyond that is also a firm assurance that there will be no new CI to govern the 2024 elections. What that means is that we are going with the CI 127 that you all know. So Ghana card will be used as part of the documents, identifiers, but Ghana card will not be the sole identifier.
The New Patriotic Party says it has no issues with the decision at IPAC. Director of Elections and Research Evans Nimako says they are ready for the election.
The existing CI is what is going to be used. That means that indelible ink will be used. The date for the elections remains 7 December. There's going to be registration exercise for 21 days. In May, there will be guarantor system. What the MPP will not support is for stakeholders to guarantee for minors and non-citizens to be on the electoral roll. It is the reason why the New Patriotic Party was in full support of a new CI that will ensure that it is the Ghana card that will be used. That notwithstanding, we will go along with what exists and make sure that the right things are done. I think as parties, we've had successful celebration at this meeting, and we'll see to its fruitful implementation Yes.
Would you say generally you are satisfied with the engagement with EC?
Yes, we said that with respect to the registration that is to come in May, the EC said it will be at the district offices for 21 days. The EC has also agreed that they will make available some mobile registration teams so that very difficult areas will be assessed for our brothers and sisters who will have to register to be on the ballot. They are anticipating a certain number of about 600,000 to be on the electoral roll. And so we will be eyeing those indicators and make sure that we will have a very successful exercise. And for us to have a very peaceful general elections come December. For us, we know very well that our candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has done so much. There's so much of support for him across the country. And so we know we are winning the election. So we will do everything it takes for Ghana to have a very smooth and successful election.
Still on elections, the National Peace Council has cautioned political party leaders not to be quick in resorting to violence during the December 7 elections. The Council says it expects parties to help sustain the efforts by the government to mitigate existing and emerging threats to peace and security ahead of the election. Speaking at a trust-building workshop in the Ashanti region, the chairman of the Peace Council, Reverend Ben, admonished political parties to value the lives of voters. Nana Boachi Yadom has more.
The Peace Council's trust-building workshop with political party representatives in Kumasi was to train political actors in ensuring a peaceful election on December 7. This is part of efforts by the council to ensure an incident-free election. Chairman of the Peace Council, Reverend Ben Abubakar, says violent activities that led to the death of 8 in the 2020 election must not be repeated.
Our previous presidential and parliamentary elections saw the loss of 8 precious lives. We are all waiting for the police to take preventative action. The NDC aiming to capture power from the NPP by all means and at all costs, and the NPP aiming to retain power by all means and at all costs with the slogan of breaking the 8, the use of indecent and intemperate campaign language by party favorites, the issue of winner takes all dangers depending largely on survival, the seeming institutionalization of monocracy and democracy are way or no way.
He admonished political parties to value the lives of voters during the polls.
Non-violence is a powerful weapon that must be well utilized in our country. If our country is to progress as peacefully as we would want it, we must respect the foundation of our humanity and accept the fact that dialogue through consensus in our diversity is the only hope. We shouldn't be quick to resort to violence and chaotic behavior whenever tensions arise.
Police representative COP Owutum Pienim cautioned parties against vigilantism and the deployment of heavily built men during the election.
Some of the acts on the day of election, the use of macho men, vigilantism, these are acts that seek to bring violence and dent our electoral processes. As parties gathered here, we hope that from lessons learned since 1992, when the 4th Republic Constitution came into being, a lot has happened and we have learned a lot. And I think in life, the best way to achieve the best for yourself is to learn from your mistakes and correct what you did not do right. So that going forward, you will always do what will be right and what will help you to grow as an individual and to grow as a nation.
Political party representatives shared the expectations going into the elections.
In terms of abandoning vigilantism under the guise of national security, then I think NPP should be called on board, because as we speak today, we rely so much on the police council. For example, when we went to the North, we relied on IGP Dampare and his police service to make sure that there was peace and tranquility in the elections, and I think they did a yeoman's job over there. So NDC as a political party, we rely on the national security apparatus.
My praise is that we, after dissolving them, we should enact law that will be punitive enough and serve as deterrent for them not to engage themselves. Because if you are a vigilante and you know very well that after this activity and I'm caught, I'll be punished, I think it will also serve as deterrent for you not to engage yourself. But if you are to rely on these political parties, I don't believe this election will do election free without vigilantes. It will be very difficult.
For Joy News, Nana Boache Danko Kumasi.
The Komfanochi Teaching Hospital is admitting over 1,000 stroke patients every year. The figure is in contrast with some 200 cases recorded 40 years ago. A time-bound and minimally damaged treatment has been launched at the hospital to improve stroke treatment. Here is a report by Clinton Yeboah.
A decreased blood flow stroke occurs when the blood supply to parts of the brain is blocked or reduced by a blood clot. Stroke has been noted as a top rampant medical condition being recorded in the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. Treatment remains a challenge while experts explore contemporary treatment methods. The drugs and medication previously used in stroke treatment did not dissolve blood clots, hence leaving patients with a permanent disability. Active stroke thrombolysis will administer clot-busting drugs and medication to dissolve blood clots in the brain during an acute stroke. Thrombolysis services will incorporate thrombolysis into routine stroke care at Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. At the launch of the implementation of thrombolysis services, consultant neurologist at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, Dr. Fred Stephen Safo, said the new method is revolutionary.
In the past, when somebody had a stroke, what we used to do was you admit the person and start aspirin. But those drugs in the past does not dissolve the clot that has been formed. And so the person will have a permanent disability. But in this intervention, the clot, which is the problem, the one that is causing the symptom, is what you are dissolving from the brain so that the person will be healed and the person will be cured, in essence. So it is revolutionary in that it is novel, it is innovative, and it can really improve outcomes for our patients.
Chief Executive of the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, Professor Ochiri Adei Mensah, says the hospital's new strategy is to optimize the delivery of tertiary health care.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, regrettably, challenges such as limited access to healthcare services, especially in the rural areas, low public awareness about the risk factors, symptoms and prevention of the disease, as well as shortage of specialized healthcare professionals skilled in the management of stroke cases have undermined the prevention, diagnosis and treatment of the condition in the country. In line with the hospital's new strategy to optimize the delivery of tertiary healthcare through innovation and research, management has supported the CAC multidisciplinary stroke thrombolysis team to commence the delivery of the special service to save stroke patients brought in time to this hospital from suffering the worst possible impact of the disease.
Deputy Regional Director of Clinic Care, Ghana Health Service, Rita Larson Rendorf, is enjoining stakeholders to heighten public education on stroke.
I will just say that we are happy this is happening. We are ready to support, but immediate term, what we think that as a service we can do is with the awareness creation and educating people to suspect, so that they report to you the experts. And then we will call for the material, what exactly to say in educating the people, because you have the expertise. So we believe that for the immediate term, that is something that is a service in the region we can do to support this novel thing that has come up.
Reporting for Joy News, Clinton.
Health officials at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital are raising concerns over the increasing number of fetal abnormalities recorded among pregnant women who visit the facility. Deputy Director of Nursing Service Public Health in charge of the antenatal unit of the hospital, Scholastica Gladys Derry, says the situation is largely connected to the effect of lead and mercury pollution. She made the revelation during an awareness-raising exercise by the environmental organization Pure Earth Ghana on the effect of lead pollution to maternal health. There's more in this report.
Lead, mostly produced due to human-made industries, automobiles, batteries, is the second most toxic metal, which comprises 0.02% of Earth's crust. Lead exposure negatively impacts pregnancy outcomes of mothers and their newborns. Prenatal exposure to lead is manifested by toxic effects on the human fetus, including risk factors such as premature birth, low birth weight, and the impairment of mental development. Deputy Director of Nursing Services Public Health in charge of the antenatal unit of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Scholastica Gladys Derry, says the hospital is seeing an increase in fetal abnormalities due to lead pollution.
We've seen that a lot of fetal abnormalities are coming into the system, especially when the mothers are pregnant. When they take the scan, you see abnormality, brain development, one leg, one arm, and then when it's like that, they are forced to do something about it. And just as I said, the scans shows that these days they are quite often. I can say in a month you can see about 4 or 5 of such cases. And then when it's like that, most of the time, if it is severe, the brain development, they might, abort the pregnancy or do for the sake of the health of the mother and the baby that will come out to be a burden. So these days it's quite engaged. Just as I said, first we weren't having a unit for it, but now we are trying to open a fetal maternal unit for such cases. It's because we are seeing the cases often, so we are trying to open a unit for it.
The awareness-raising exercise forms part of the environmental NGO Pure Earth International Women's Day celebration. The pregnant women at the antenatal unit of the Rich Hospital were educated on the effect of lead to their health and that of the unborn child. Esmond Kwanzaa is the country director of Pure Earth.
Over the past few years, Pure Earth has, during International Women's Day, has been raising awareness on the effect of toxic pollution on maternal health. These issues have caused dire consequences, and children, pregnant women, lactating mothers are the most affected.
Let's head to Parliament, where members of Parliament are yet to come to terms with the sudden demise of Deputy Finance Minister Anajiso MP Dr. John Kuma. Most MPs are today wearing black in Parliament, and John Kuma's seat tied with red cloth. Let's cross over and speak with Kwekwa Asante, who is our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent. Kwekwa Asante, what's the mood in Parliament today? Hello, Kwekwa Asante.
This also a time of action to highlight.
Kwekwa Asante, what's the mood in Parliament today?
Maisha, it's a rather somber mood. In fact, MPs on both sides wearing black. If you come to the floor of the House, you would see that John Kuma's seat, which is about 2 or 3 seats to the back of the majority leader, has been draped in red. And in fact, it's somber on both sides of the aisle. MPs are really taking in this sad news that have just come in, with most of them expressing their grief and mourning by wearing black to the House today. In fact, just gone by, there was the roll call of the House. In fact, every morning they have to do a roll call, and when it was time to mention the Honorable John Kuma's name, the table office skipped that name, and so Honorable John Kuma's name was not mentioned on the floor today. Obviously getting that indication that that news has trickled in, and as far as Parliament is considered, that record has to be taken out. So the House has also had a 1-minute silence in memory of the late MP and the former Deputy Minister for Finance. And MPs are all really sad that John Kumah, who they've been paying tribute in very glowing terms, have had to bow out in this way.
Have the MPs been able to wrap up the debate on the State of the Nation's address?
That was supposed to be yesterday until the news about John Kumah's death came in, and so they could not do that. This morning, they started first with a roll call as usual, but then did a 1-minute silence for the Honorable John Kumah. There's currently a statement being read by the Minister for Fisheries, Honorable Howard, who is also the caretaker Minister for Children, Gender and Social Protection, to commemorate the International Women's Day. And so that is what is happening now. We expect that there will be comments, and then we may get an indication as to whether or not leadership would expect that the debate on the State of the Nation address can conclude today with the leadership to do so. The minority leader who will be expected to debate is currently also the appointment committee hearing, which is happening. And so we are yet to get an indication if the House will be able to conclude the debate this morning.
Kwekwa Sante is our parliamentary affairs correspondent. We'll bring you more from Parliament in our subsequent bulletins. Let's take a break on Joy News today. When we return, there's business.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the business segment of Joy News today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. The Ghana Association of Banks, Treasury Warehouse and the Judicial Service are embarking on a stringent move to support judges of the High Court and of course the Supreme Court to appreciate financial issues in adjudicating cases. More in this report.
The Judicial Service has played a critical role in the banking sector since the beginning of the cleanup exercise, which witnessed many shareholders and depositors seeking redress in the courts. According to the Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, there is a need for judges and members of the judiciary to understand the financial markets and apply the laws accordingly. The training program is also expected to address concerns related to non-performing loans in the sector. Here is John Ewa speaking to Joy Business after the opening.
Arise in business relationships, and when they do, where do we go for resolution? We go to the court, and that is why we find it as necessary that where knowledge needs to be deepened or where there are new areas, we are able to bring our judges up to speed on some of the emerging new knowledge and new financial products and this, legal consequences for them to understand. Once they understand, then they will be in a position to also adjudicate when there are disputes.
In her remarks, the Chief Justice Gertrude Saki Tokonu urged participants in the training to broaden their knowledge of the sector to help expedite justice in the financial space.
Judges in Ghana, therefore, and especially those of you on the High Court Commercial Division bench, need to enhance your knowledge, and all of us need to enhance our knowledge in this extremely significant new challenge of the market and every new challenge of the market. On my part as head of the judiciary and judicial administration, I find this intervention from the Treasury Warehouse and from the Association of Bankers extremely exquisite, extremely relevant, and extremely timely, and I'm extremely grateful for it. I don't know how many extremists I have to say, but I am extremely happy.
More stakeholders are expected to benefit from the training, which is sponsored by the Ghana Association of Banks and the Treasury Warehouse.
More business news. The executive director of Syntex Tanks, Karan Bajarani, says the company's strategic expansion into the northern region market is a testament of its excellent product quality tailored to meet customer needs. Speaking in an interview with Joy Business, Budrani acknowledged the enormous efforts of its partner agents nationwide whose contributions have been indispensable to the success of the brand.
The Sintas group of companies is not only interested in producing quality and affordable product for the good people of Ghana and beyond, but is also concerned with the well-being of individuals who contribute to the success and growth of the brand nationwide. This was demonstrated at the Sintas Agent event organized in Accra to honor and celebrate agents who have over the years demonstrated loyalty and commitment. Speaking on the sidelines of the event, the executive director of Sintas Times Ghana, Karan Budrani, disclosed that the brand's growth strategy calls for effective collaboration amongst agents across the regions.
Some people believe that bringing agents together might actually sabotage each other, but we believe teamwork is stronger than individual work. We believe that the tanks are required all over Ghana, and we want to open a factory in Tamale, which will be opening next month. That will support the northern sector of the northern belt of Ghana, and we believe this will also help reduce the costs to make it very affordable for the northern sector. It ranges from 100 liters to 25,000 liters, soon expanding even bigger than that. Our quality is the same nationwide, our price is the same nationwide, no matter where you buy our tank. From all our 400 agents, it's all the same price. From Accra all the way to Paga, Novrongo, all the way to the end.
Joy Business also spoke to some of the Sintas dedicated agents.
Some people come and they said they want tanks white inside, but it's not just ordinary white, it's coated, and the durability is also special, very special, and they have something called guarantee. Some other tanks they don't give guarantee. They only give warranty.
Some people will just arrange some blocks and put the tanks on, and it's a plastics and it's a molding. So if you don't have a flat and a firm platform, the tank will not last. So we at our point also educate them, and the feedback has been very, very fantastic. And in any extreme case, if you have issue with the tanks you buy, we just change it for you.
That's all for business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. See you at 1 p.m. with the marketplace.
Good afternoon. Let's bring you sports now. On a Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. President Akufo-Addo has received the torch ahead of tonight's opening ceremony for the African Games 2023. Receiving the AU technical chairperson at the Jubilee House on Thursday, President Akufo-Addo said that he expects the country to host the rest of the continent and what he believes is going to be a spectacular event.
And we are very honored for the opportunity given to us this afternoon to present the African Games torch relay, a symbolic handing down of the African Games spirit that has been passed from generation to generations since 1965, when the game first started in Brazzaville. Your Excellency, I want to miss that opportunity on behalf of, as chair of TCAG and LOC and all my delegation, to say sincerely thank you to you and our appreciation to Your Excellency for your commitment. I can say a strong commitment, a strong will to us, the African Games, and for the great investment. I don't know how many times I visited, I was following, I can see the huge investment in sport infrastructure toward a very beautiful and successful game in Africa.
Meanwhile, tomorrow the Swimming Championships starts, and my colleague Haruna Mubarak paid the team a visit at the Boteman Sports Complex, and he's come through with this report.
The African Games is finally here, and the 10 swimmers are all in, committed to making their mark. This is a team united by a singular dream to stand out at the event.
Well, the association has really
taking their time to bring in this quality of swimmers. We have a lot of swimmers in the country, but it's a statement that we want to make. I mean, looking at this facility and how we want swimming to grow in Ghana, it is best we bring the best qualities for this competition. And I think the selection here or the team here, I believe, is the best we have, and they are really going to make a statement for us here.
It is a team with a blend of experience and youth. Nubia Ejay, a 100-meter backstroke national record holder, is one of the senior figures within the group.
Improve my time, get better, and just move forward with all my individual strokes and relays.
How long has it been?
4 years.
What were you doing within those 4 years?
Just been training, getting ready, and really just trying to do my best at each competition that we've gone to.
How far have you grown within those 4 years?
I think steadily I've been growing. I've seen the improvements I've needed to make, and I'm hoping that it's all put into practice when I do this competition. So hopefully everything adds up.
That is your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. We appreciate your time.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline Ansamayabwa. Now, the stage is set for the official opening ceremony of the African Games, a continental sports event with 4,000 athletes in 23 sports disciplines. The opening ceremony will feature Ghanaian dancehall artist Shatta Wale, South Africa's Kafo Imfela, and many more. In a world where creativity knows no bounds, Sewa, a trailblazing photographer, is using her lens to redefine success on this International Women's Day. With a passion that has fueled her entire life, Sewa has emerged as a beacon of inspiration for women thriving in male-dominated sectors.
This is for my ladies in the house. Background set, camera, light, click. Sometimes a pose will do too, and clicking away behind the camera is Sewa. Her journey through the pep of the camera has been extraordinary. With 6 years of professional experience under her belt, she has not only captured breathtaking moments, but has also shattered stereotypes along the way. In the setting of a male-dominated creative sector, Sewa's unwavering determination continues to propel her to new heights.
Source of income for me because I'm from a broken house, and due to photography, I saw challenges, but photography has been the source of my discipline now. So I've always been in the male field, like sports and all the others. So getting a career that men are really dominated in it, it's something I like.
But what is a secret to success in a world where women are often overlooked?
I get some bookings and I will go, and then we say that the woman was the one who booked me. The man doesn't believe in me. Like Oban saw photography there. So whenever you have the gender look, you need to work hard and push harder. That's the only thing I tell people. So since I'm a female, if I'm pushing harder and I'm getting to the standard of some of the male photographers, I think people will notice me.
Yeah. Sewa believes by embracing various sectors, women can unlock their true potential and pave the way to their own success.
I want to tell the women that they should also try engineering, camera operation and other stuff like IT. They should put themselves in those sectors. It will rather push them higher than them pushing. I'm not saying nursing is a bad thing, but I feel like if you guys are all tracked there, it wouldn't push you guys so much. So they shouldn't be scared in doing things that men do.
They should take the bold step.
They should take the bold step.
This year's International Women's Day theme resonates deeply with her. She passionately calls for increased support for women in the creative industry.
And that's all for the Showbiz segment. I am Jacqueline Ansamayabwa. Aisha, happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day, my love, and thank you so much for bringing us Showbiz. That's it for the bulletin this afternoon. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of the developing stories. To enjoy the rest of our programs.